Every few months, a new peace initiative hits the headlines in Israel with almost every country involved. The French initiative has been rejected by the Israeli government, the Egyptian one has almost influenced the new Israeli coalition, and the recent Russian one still remains on the table. Joining me in the studio today is Middle East expert and former Knesset member Dr. Einat Wilf. Thanks so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
So to begin, 2016 was a big year. Why are all these peace initiatives coming out now?
I would say mostly the countries are bored. I mean, there's nothing to do on the international stage. They feel helpless with respect to real issues, the biggest one being, of course, Syria, questions that have to do with Eastern Europe, the question of the future of the EU. So somehow there's this vision that making peace among Israelis and Palestinians is the holy grail of international diplomacy. And a lot of countries and diplomats who want to make a name for themselves, who feel that they cannot make a name for themselves anywhere else, somehow latched onto this issue.
Interesting, the holy grail of political issues. I like the way that you put that. So usually the United States is a key player in any Israeli-Palestinian peace talk, but why is U.S. absent right now in the recent discussions, or are they absent?
They are, in the sense that they've already tried and failed. 2 years ago, with much fanfare, they've declared an intention to bring peace in 9 months, even though both the Israelis and Palestinians told them it's a very bad idea. Somehow, Secretary of State Kerry thought that he could, through his sheer work and personality, lead the sides to peace. That, of course, came crashing down, and the United States at this moment has no intention to try anything like that again.
Now, what is the influence of, the growing Israeli-Egyptian relations on the peace process? I know that Egypt is supporting a Saudi Arabian initiative, but what does that mean for Israel?
That is by far the most promising track. Egypt has always been critical to the Palestinian issue. In many ways, you could say that Egypt is the founder of the PLO. They've always played a very big role in pushing this issue. It was a key element of the Egyptian-Israeli peace treaty. They see themselves as, given that they're a leader in the Arab world, that this is part of their responsibility. So this is the most promising, because if anyone can lead the Palestinians to make the necessary concessions that they need to make for peace, it will have to be an Arab country.
That's a good point. Now, Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia, surprised us all by proposing for Israeli and Palestinian leaders to come and to Russia and speak. What are his motivations? Why is he suddenly getting involved in this issue?
The motivation is mostly one of image. President Putin seems to enjoy sticking it to the United States whenever he can. If he can do what the United States has been trying to do for so long, and he succeeds and they fail, it provides international standing, again, like almost no other issue. This is the issue that so many countries and diplomats look to build their name on. So it's mostly him identifying that the United States is not going to touch the issue right now, thinking that given his involvement in Syria, the closer relationship with Israel, that there's an opportunity for him to make a name for himself, and he's taking advantage of this opportunity.
Is he going to push forward and make this happen? And will Israel even be willing to, engage in discussions that have Russia so heavily involved?
He's definitely going to try. There's only gains for him in that, because if he doesn't succeed, no one's going to blame him. No one expects success at this point. But I think Israel will be very careful about granting so many brownie points to Vladimir Putin. It will have to be careful about the United States, so it remains to be seen.
So the final big question, is there a real chance for any of these peace initiatives to actually succeed? And are the Israelis and Palestinians ready right now to actually move forward with peace talks?
The short answer is no, of course. We see it in many polls and positions and in numerous efforts. But the place where we do have hope is really in the massive changes taking place in the Arab world. The fact that Israel no longer appears to be the biggest problem, the biggest enemy, the enemy around which the Arab countries coalesce. So if there is hope, and it's not tomorrow, it's in the changes in the Arab world that will ultimately lead them to say, we are going to accept Israel as existing here, as an ally even, and if we need to push our brothers, the Palestinians, to make concessions they have not been willing to make in the past, we're going to do this. And in truth, the Palestinians without Arab support will find it very difficult to continue their rejectionist stance. And if the Arab countries push them to make peace with Israel, that's the only chance we have for it.
For Israel, is there any positive outcome of, engaging in multilateral dialogue about this issue, or are direct talks what's necessary?
Both. I mean, there are issues that are direct, these are the neighbors, these are the people with whom we'll need to make peace, but ultimately it is about the Arab world at large. The Palestinian issue has always been part of the grand question of the Arab world, the Muslim world, how they see the issue of Jewish sovereignty in their midst. It cannot be disconnected. And also for Israelis are more likely to take the risks necessary for peace if they see the rewards are in the form of greater acceptance to the region as a whole.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and for the insight. We can only hope for the best.
Thank you.